The mayor of Tallahassee, Andrew Gillum, joins us now by phone. He's also, by the way, the Democratic nominee in the Florida's gubernatorial race right now. Mayor Gillum, tell us about what's going on in your capital city there in Tallahassee, but also, more importantly, to the west of you. What reports have you been getting, sir?
Yeah, Chris, thank you so much. And again, my heart, all of our hearts go out to those west of Tallahassee who bore the brunt of the storm surge that came ashore. We've all seen the disturbing, catastrophic images of the storm surge just rushing through Mexico Beach. We're here to be their neighbors. We, in fact, took in a number of folks who evacuated and came to our area to wait out the storm. And my community, obviously, our threat is of a different nature. Our threat is one of wind. In fact, Chris, as I talk to you, I'm in a utility vehicle moving around my city as we observe street after street, road after road that has huge trees thrown across it, utility poles that are down. And now we, of course, could have had it much worse in this area, given that we've got a city that's got about 50% tree cover here. But we're still assessing the damage. About 30 minutes ago, we released our EMS, fire, and police, along with our utility, to get back out on the street. Our utility workers are now taking assessment and stock of the damage to the system. And starting at about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, they'll begin with the restoration process to try to get our community back up and going.
Let me ask you about the politics of climate and all this. You know, I think about Miami. I get down there once in a while, that other part of your state. I know you're running for governor, so it matters to you. I think about the water level coming up to within a few feet of Miami, how your state's endangered by climate change. Is this regular weather we're getting now? I'm Category 4. Your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I've been asked, was the Panhandle caught by surprise here? And I got to tell you, Sunday I was in Miami. I was that evening going from an event on another mission, as you mentioned in my introduction, and we got a call that, hey, look, it looks like this tropical system is heading up our way, and we thought we might deal with maybe a tropical storm and tropical storm force winds. Well, this thing went from that, from Sunday night all the way to a Category 4, near Category 5 storm today. That was significant, and obviously that has to do with the warmth of the Gulf waters at this time, and that storm was able to gain tremendous strength and hit our state at 150 miles per hour in the Panhandle, 7 miles per hour below what would necessitate a Category 5 storm. For all intent and purpose, when you add in the wind gusts, you're dealing with a near Category 5, a hurricane hitting the coast of Florida in October. We've got, obviously, a challenge on that end. And I'll tell you, we got some work to do in this state to build us to be a more resilient state. But the truth is right now we just got to try to make sure we recover as many people and get as much of our community back up and going as we possibly can. I fear this is going to be a longer journey.
Well, you're on hardball, so I'm going to ask you a political question. What do you make of your opponent out there running as a Republican against you? He's behind you right now, running negative ads, trashing you right now in the middle of all this. What do you make of the appropriateness of that?
Well, I mean, I agree with Craig Fugate. I agree with Jeb Bush. I agree with Governor Rick Scott in this case, who said that it is unseemly to run those kinds of ads. I mean, literally, I was informing the public here in North Florida about the storm this morning as we were anticipating impact. And in my ear, I could hear a negative ad being run about hurricane response and indicting me in that process. And I just thought, we've had, a lot of divisive politics in our state, but I can't remember a time where we didn't have statewide candidates pull down negative campaigns, particularly in those parts of the state where people are trying to run for their lives. We've got communities that are underwater this afternoon. And what are they saying? Are these negative ads? It's unseemly.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.